What's up? What's up? It looks like we are live here on the old YouTube channels, guys. If you're here with us, or if you're checking in, or you're just checking it out, guys, we're the Guitar Pirates Podcast. We've got a little bit of an intro, but I want to say thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for tuning in. If you guys tune in later on, um, let's see here. First little bit, some new PRS stuff. George Benson, workshops, TikTok accessories, all sorts of great stuff here in the Guitar Prize Podcast. Stay tuned. Let's get it.
On a journey through deep space, trapped in a war, two pirates fight the good fight, armed with only 6 strings and some pretty bitchin' beards. It's time for your weekly dose of pirate madness. You're now listening to the Guitar Pirates Podcast.
What's up, everyone? And welcome to episode 136 of Guitar Prize Podcast. Yes, your weekly music news, guitar gear, and facial hair support club show. I'm your host, Josh Jones.
And I'm your co-host, Jim Steger.
Guys, welcome to the foothills of the Ozark Mountains. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'd say 10:41, guys. If you're here with us live or if you start tuning in, welcome. Doors always open. Thank you for inviting us into your eyeballs and earlobes. Dirty laundry, first usual segment. But first of all, Jim, how was the rest of the week?
Good.
Good.
I got finally put what was in my brain for a few years to actual visual.
Yeah.
I got my amp all lit up like a Christmas tree. Finally got all my horror mask coming in, everything that I wanted, and it worked out pretty good.
If you are an amp decorator, hit us up in the comment section below and let us know how you decorate your amps and how you set up your rig at your house. But other than that, guys, we've been clearing the way for, taking care of sponsorship duties, taking care of different ideas and different things and themes that we want to bring to you for the show. So we've been taking care of that and just kind of kicking the same old thing as well. But I'm trying to think of anything else from last week that we need to bring up or repeat or go back over.
I think last week was pretty well straightforward.
Yeah, it was just kind of dipping our toes back into the
yeah, we kind of just
back into the ether.
We dove right into the deep end.
Yeah. For sure. And get this mic situated a little bit better.
At least we know how to swim still. So.
Yes. Yeah, we're pretty good at swimming still. Jumping into this day in music, guys, brought to you by Franklin Straps. Head over to franklinstraps.com and pick up your strap today. We're going to go over some of their new stuff, and we're going to check out some Tonal music later today as well. 2 things. Led Zeppelin asking a judge to throw out, lawyers for Led Zeppelin asking the judge to throw out the lawsuit for the plagiarism Stairway to Heaven. Think I've gone into it a little bit and listened to that song Taurus and stuff like that. There's some
meat there.
There's some meat there, I guess. But Led Zeppelin's also been known to do that with other blues songs, so.
And every other band that's ever existed of all time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what band it is.
So I don't know. Kind of, it may or may not have been a reach in your eyes. Whatever way you think of it, let us know.
There's one thing they didn't plagiarize is that solo, though.
That's true.
That solo, there's no way you could in the lyrics and.
Another small one here. Paul McCartney, This Day in Music, 2004. this gets us into, I don't know, whether it be Back to the Future, whatever you want to call it, however you want to talk about it. Paul McCartney hired 3 jets to spray dry ice into the clouds so it wouldn't rain during the concert. The gig in St. Petersburg, Russia was McCartney's 3,000 concert appearance. He'd performed 2,535 gigs with the Quarrymen and the Beatles, 140 gigs with Wings, and 325 solo shows. So this 3,000th show, he puts dry ice in the clouds so it doesn't rain.
Well,
Are you that powerful? Can you do that? Anyway, that's This Day in Music, brought to you by Franklin Straps. Head over to franklinstraps.com.
He may not be able to move mountains, but he can stop rain.
Get your straps today. Or head over to Tonal Music Inc. because we'll be going down that a little later in Gear Acquisition Syndrome, where we run down some of the stuff at Tonal Music. Also, we will be talking a little bit about some new colors and some Franklin straps because, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. There's one
that's not just us fanboying about a sponsor. That's legit getting on the website and going, what?
Especially if we know what one strap will look like on a certain guitar. Oh my goodness.
I've seen it and I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, rolling down the line, we're moving fast, but that's okay. Because we're live here on the YouTube. We're moving fast, but we're gonna jump in to a little bit of Jim's Metal Minute. And go. Jim's Metal Minute!
And welcome to Jim's Metal Minute. We just went through This Day in Music. I have a small one. Today, 1983, Iron Maiden released one of the most epic albums to ever hit the airwaves, and that is The Trooper. So I have to get a little shout out to that. And also, happy birthday to the bass and singing god that he is, Mr. Michael Anthony. 70 years old today. Sorry, EVH, boy can sing. We all know we love you, EVH, but
yeah,
your criticism of him falls on mute ears
at this point. Yes,
but as I've talked about before, the Wild Audio, all the different shapes. Well, this one might take the cake. To me, it looks like somebody going, yeah, like that's just how I look at it. This is one of the coolest colors that I've seen.
Should we save this for later in the show? We have gear. We have more of a gear segment. This is some gear.
We can. We might save it because this is what I was going to put in for my Metal Minute. But we can end it with The Trooper because we can talk about The Trooper, how that's one of the most epic. It is one of the most epic albums to ever hit. And why they're not in the Hall of Fame.
That is something I don't think we'll never figure
that out. We're never
going
to find that out. I mean, they sold, what was that? They sold more albums in the 80s than anybody.
Yeah, it's just great. Some of the numbers and shows and everything that they've done for rock and roll and like two guitar bands and stuff like that, or 3, whatever, like the harmonies and everything.
And one of the best bassists to step foot on planet. Like it's unbelievable. But yeah, we'll save this guitar. It's just I was so excited. I was so excited about it.
That's okay because here's where I messed up. So excited we're going live on YouTube. I just pressed record on the recorder for the podcast. So if you're just listening to the audio, welcome.
Welcome.
We're only about 9 minutes in on YouTube. So if you're just curious if you missed anything, it's nothing special, I promise.
It happens.
It's nothing special.
We don't restart anything.
And it's also pressing record twice. So it's like a brain fart, like a little bit. So, but I realized it. We're good. We've been recording now for the podcast for about 3 minutes. So if you're just listening on audio, welcome.
And I got one more to add. 1998, the reunion of said Black Sabbath. Yes, 1998, the first full reunion of all 4 original members since Ozzy Osbourne was fired happened Ozfest 1998. That is some great information to have, because where were we in 1998 and why did we not? We never got to go to one
we were
Ozfest.
like 12 or 13.
I know, but you look at 12 and 13-year-olds now. I go to, all these metal shows I've ever been to. I see 10, 8,
I think
9,
when I was 12 and 13, I was like, Vans Warped Tour.
Yeah,
Whoa. But that's when like legit bands were on the Warped Tour, though.
Yeah,
like
well,
back then.
12.
It's easy to make fun of them, but I mean, like, there were like Pennywise and Rancid and like the funner bands, Offspring and shit like that.
Yeah.
And yes, it got more like used later on, but like when early days, it was like a punk fest.
And as soon as you seen Metallica on the Vans, you're like, all right, it's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, it needs to happen in a way, but it's, I don't know. You can do it, but it's hard. It's hard when the Warped Tour was so just thought of as one thing.
Yeah. It just sucks looking back when we were 12 to 13 and like my concert life started at 16 to 18 and then on. And then I could have seen Pantera, I could have seen Black Sabbath, I could have seen Ozzy Osbourne, I could have seen
something
that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And now I look back and I'm disgusted at my 13-year-old self.
That 2015 show in Little Rock with Motorhead and the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. I remember that one.
That one was
that's what happens when you wanted to be a rapper when you're 12 or 13 years old. That's what happened. I went from metal back to rap, and then I went back to metal at 16. So shout out to my 13-year-old self for being stupid. Thanks a lot, 3-6 Mafia.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for nothing.
My God.
Ruined my whole life.
Oh my God. If you're a Midwest kid and you've heard 3-6 Mafia your whole teenage life, let us know.
We all loved 3-6 Mafia.
Well, let's think about this here before we move on. What would have made 3-6 Mafia more accessible, or not accessible, but more enjoyable? Let's do. I'm gonna tell you 2 words: guitar solo.
Yeah.
Imagine a blazing guitar solo in all those 3-6 songs.
Yeah. I mean, because you say that guitar solo, it makes me think of ICP's albums.
Yeah.
That has it doesn't have the guitar solo, but it has the metal influence.
Cottonmouth Kings or what?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna get off of that. We're gonna jump into some news because we've got quite a bit to talk about.
Sorry, 3-6 Mafia. I love you. Sorry.
No, we love. Yeah.
I take everything I said back.
No, that's a.
But you ruined my you ruined my early life.
News, biggest news, not some of the biggest news. Fender's finally doing it. Finally, Susan Tedeschi finally getting the signature Telecaster.
It's about time.
Based on the 93 American Standard, that like surf green red guard rosewood board guitar. Yeah.
If you don't know, that's Josh's woman.
It's a
we're sorry, Derek Trucks. We know, Derek Trucks. You're great, but Josh called dibs, man. I don't have to tell you. You may have the ring, but
no, it is an innocent schoolboy crush. As in, oh my God. No, I just have a lot of reverence for her, and I think she's a great player and a great singer.
Well, yeah, he holds her guitar like musician wise first, but she's gorgeous.
Oh God, yes. Like Jesus Christ.
She's gorgeous.
$18.99.
That's not bad at all.
The way inflation is, and I mean they're giving her.
But is that USA or Mexican?
It's USA.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's USA
because the Jim Root is about 1,600, and that's Mexican where it starts at. So
I'm on the site, Fender site. Get through all the cookies.
Is that the 60s neck or is that the jumbo 70s?
gloss poly, alder body, 22 frets, modern C, 9.5 radius. Custom Susan Tedeschi single coil Tele in the bridge, custom Susan in the neck, master volume, master TBX tone control, 6 saddle bridge, neck plate 4 bolt with custom Susan Tedeschi artwork. Just says Tedeschi C profile maple neck. So she's got her own profile. They did the whole thing for her.
Like that.
They gave her pickups. They gave her a neck profile. Like that.
What's that? What's the headstock? Is that the?
That's a 93 standard.
Well, I know, but I mean, is it more like the jumbo 70s? Or is it more like 60s?
I think it's more like just an early 90s thing.
Oh, that's a Tele.
Yeah,
that's a Tele headstock. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a Tele. It's a Telecaster. It's the green Telecaster that she's.
I thought it was a strap. My bad. I looked at it wrong. That's my apologies. I don't know why I thought it was a strap.
It's American. Yeah, it says made in Corona, California.
For $1,800, that ain't bad at all.
As a signature guitar, first of its kind.
You think it'll go Mexico? Do you think it trickle down into Esquire?
If it sells big, it'll go. You'll get a cheaper model, but I don't think it's going to trickle hard unless it just gets a massive push.
Which this is the question that I know I've asked you before, and I've asked other people. Are you ashamed to buy a signature women's guitar? Does that
no?
Does that bother you?
No,
exactly. But
no.
I'm saying I wonder if there's some people that wouldn't buy it because it's a
girl's guitar. No,
it's like
she plays circles around anybody who's looking at that stuff.
Well, it's like the Nita Strauss Ibanez makes me drool. I think it's so badass.
The Sister Rosetta Tharpe triple humbucker SG.
You know that's on my bucket list.
That's a guitar that's.
I mean, that's Sister G. Though.
That's a guitar that everybody needs.
Yeah, you have to have the triple hum.
But yeah, no, shout out to Susan for getting something that big. Like
they went all out.
They gave her her own neck profile. They gave her her own pickups. They gave her her own guitar. Like,
I wonder. So,
like that's giving her the red carpet. I feel like
that would be a neck that we would consider too small. I would imagine.
I think that neck is going to be something around. It might be slightly small, but I think it'll be fine. Because if it's anything modeled after anything from those 90s standards, we kind of know what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd think of a slightly fatter C. Nothing too crazy, but nothing too small.
Not the Zach C. That's like
it's not a baseball bat C. It's not an oversized C.
You can't get your finger over
it's just that's my guess of it.
Because what is your Tele's? What is the neck profile on that one?
Like just
is it
the white one's a Fender Deep C. The thin lines,
the
thin lines like a 60C.
In the 60, anything older has always got a fat.
It's fat, but it's not like super fat, but it's not tiny. If it was like 1970s tiny, it would have been gone already.
Do those have taper finishes on those, or are they just solid straight through?
There's some of them that they taper a little.
Because you know how I'm on my SGs, they all got the taper neck.
Yeah.
Shout out to her, and that's at a good price too. That's at a really good price, $1,800.
Interested to see if they do a slightly cheaper one, just because, because I mean it's working class. That's not saying that's unobtainable, but you might be thinking about financing that.
So what, Mexico $1,200?
I'd say $899, $999.
You'd hope so.
You would hope so,
at least.
Anyway, but regardless, that's just. People out here wishful thinking. There's always going to be that person that's going to go, well, where's the cheaper one? That's the land of guitar we live in.
We always want the cheaper one because we wished it into fruition with the Dave Grohl guitar. I wanted that thing forever, but it's like I can't pay $3,000 for it. And then,
I
poof,
sat
there it was.
and thought about buying another Firebird, and it was just like, no, I'm gonna wait because something's gonna
It
happen.
happened. Yeah.
Something's gonna happen, and lo and behold, they come out with those pickups, and they come out with a new case for one, and then all of a sudden, there it is.
Yep.
New Firebird 1s, new Firebird 5s. Yeah. So, speaking of new stuff, this is Jim and I were talking about this before we got going. If you're joining us on the podcast, thank you so much. If you're around with us live on YouTube, Tommy, thanks, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Silver Sky, controversial guitar unto its own, but you can find what's called now an SENF3. Looks like they took in the most basic form of a Silver Sky, and hell, they've added triple humbuckers to it.
And I think it looks better colors.
Metallic orange. You can have options for maple and rosewood, like ice blue metallic, gunmetal gray, pearl white. The gunmetal gray is the only one that comes with a white guard. But here's the deal: $799, and you get a basic SE Silver Sky, and they're more affordable.
And 22 frets, right?
Yeah. Triple humbucker guitar, like, what a finish! I mean, what a
our love-hate for PRS, and then I seen that orange one. I was like, oh no.
The love-hate for PRS continues.
And right now, I love the look. I love the color. We know if I get it, what will happen.
I just wish they would embrace more traditional shapes. And they are, it seems like. But
well, it's like the love-hate's there, but I never got my Mark Holcomb, so I don't know.
Well,
I was supposed to get the Mark Holcomb.
There's been other topics of this, and I'm not going to piggyback off other people, but it's like there's that littleness. I don't know what it is. It's like when you were a kid and somebody wore Doc Martens.
Yeah.
There's that dude who plays a PRS.
Canton always had Doc Martens.
But I had Doc Martens when I got older and realized that they're nice.
Yeah, well, it's like...
And I've played PRSs, and some are nice. I just don't think they're for me.
Exactly. Well, it's like Canton, there's the only one I knew that wore them all the time, and it's like I always wanted them. Then I tried to get them, and I was like, these don't look good on me. I'm not built for Doc Martens, and we're not built. You're a Strat on you. Like at first, I'm like, yeah. Then the more you look, I'm like, nah, you need a like the Tele.
Strats are fun. They are fun if you have the right thing, but.
Which that's why I like the Ibanez style.
I've just never liked a traditional Strat bridge, like bridge pickup. Like I like the whammy bar, but they just always were a little thin in the rock out department. Tele's got which is surprisingly, Tele's got a little more shtick in the meat, you know.
Which I started looking at myself play my Ibanez style guitar, Strat, and they don't match. They don't look right on me. They really don't. My SG looks great on me. Of course my Dean, like that's built for me.
Yeah.
The Strat styles, I look out of play. I look so out of place playing one, but I love it. I just won't put it on camera anymore.
Hey, Mike, thank you for tuning in. Mike, if you end up getting this guitar, let us know. Hit us up in the socials and let us know what you think of this thing. But yeah, it totally has like it's definitely a new vibe.
I do that orange one with the roasted maple.
I think that they should maybe put some more white guards on the colors, because if you white guarded that orange one, that would be cool.
But I'm happy that they black guarded it, because
the black guard on the white is sweet.
But it's the orange and black to me is one of the best combos.
Very, very, very interesting that they've done this. They finally just said, screw it, we're going to take the Silver Sky and strip it down it's our model, or it's ish model.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take a basic Strat shape and we're gonna run with it.
And which from what I read, like I went into deep dive on it, and it seems like it's from the Silver Sky, but it's coming from their original NF2, I guess, or whatever it was.
NF3 or what?
Whatever. So it's from the 70s model that they put out, but it's stripped down from the Silver Sky, so we don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't get how it's from the 70s, but it's also a Silver Sky. And Josh is right and I'm right, but we both don't know.
Jim was more right than I was. He was like, "No, dude," and I was like, I had to read it and go, "Okay."
That was the one. Well, I seen that color and I was like, "Oh, I'm in love." I just fell in love with the color because it's like I still want a PRS, but we haven't been.
I haven't found the right one.
And it may be that one, but it also I still haven't got the Mark Holcomb, which that's still 2 years. That's 2 years out. So,
all right, we're kind of moving along here, guys. If you're still with us, Mike, Tom, thank you guys so much. We're 25 minutes in here on the YouTube. We're about 19 minutes here on the podcast. From my idiot ass forgetting to press record. If you all are still with us, thank you guys so much. Dave Grohl, I know you've had some stage experience, and I have too. We've all had some nightmare, stage, time. Dave Grohl, his guitar, and it looks like it's the Gibson. I mean, it's from a picture, but who knows which one it was. Quote: "Oh my guitar just died." A gold Gibson Dave Grohl signature DG335 gave way 9 seconds into Everlong. That's the saddest thing that's ever happened in my life.
Oh yeah. Thank God for Pat Schmear, and I always forget his name.
Chris Shiflett.
Yeah,
his podcast, Shredding with Shifty. Have you listened to that?
Not yet.
Dude, he plays with some guys and stuff. It's so good. Like, it's good. For guitar nerds, it's great. It says here Grohl handed over to duties to Shiflett and proceeded to command the stage like a man you don't like, Bono.
Don't ever put Dave Grohl in the same name as
I didn't. I'm just reading.
I'm not saying you, but how dare you?
Oh man.
Respect the Edge though. Still like the Edge. No worries.
Yeah, that movie, It Might Get Loud. That's my favorite guitar movie ever. Like there's a few, Crossroads is great.
I still love Crossroads.
But It Might Get Loud, the fact that Jimmy Page and you see Jack White and Edge just watching Jimmy Page and they're just like,
well, it's
that raw moment is just so.
It's what's the Cashmere tuning? It's a dulcimer, not a dulcimer.
Gad, DAD, GAD, something like that.
It's a Centaur. It's a Centaur tuning.
Yeah, like sitar or something.
Yeah,
like
sitar.
That.
It's a sitar tuning, which makes it so that sound is so awesome.
Yeah. No, there's so many licks and riffs and little things you can get from It Might Get Loud. Like I learned, if you hear some weed eating, guys, it's people out the door. I can't do much about it, but they'll go away soon. But yeah, check out It Might Get Loud. If you guys are in for a good movie, check it out. It's really good.
If you get especially, you may already respect the Edge, but you'll get more of a respect from Jack White.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or if you like any kind of White Stripes and you don't know much about Jack, like that dude he's a little weird,
but he's a
musical genius. Oh my God.
He's the garage band god, because that's what the White Stripes is. It's the garage band god. That's
and the raconteurs and what he does now. It's crazy.
And how he tricked all of us in thinking that was Meg White was his sister, and they were divorced for like years before they found out that they were married. It's the weirdest combo.
The weirdest combo. Okay.
But poor Dave Grohl.
Yeah, I know. God dang. What's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me playing guitar? I'm trying to think. I had a pedal board basically go out once. like didn't work. Like something was in the middle of it. It caused I don't know, caused something, and nothing would go right. And I probably took 15 minutes or so to try to get through it all. No, it didn't work.
Yeah.
I ripped my wah-wah pedal off of it because it was battery powered, and I stuck it in front of the amp, and I put the amp on distortion. Thank God I had a 2-channel amp that night. And then I just used my volume knob. And that's when I was like, well, shit. And then I went pedal boardless for like 6 months just to try.
Yeah.
And plug in front of amp, and it's fun, but
once you go back to pedal board, you're like, there's little aspects that you miss.
I don't know where you guys are. If you guys watch this later on, or if whoever may be tuning in. I'm a clean amp pedal platform person. Give me a clean amp, and then let me have a fuzz and a drive. I don't care about stacking drives. Doesn't bother me. I don't stack my fuzzes and my drives. I might want a boost to give me a little hair when I'm not going full blown, but that's just what a volume knob does.
I'm dime-eyes.
Good volume knob will do that.
Crank the gain, then give me a boost pedal to crank the gain, because I'm like Dime. There's like, thank God that my PB Bandit has just enough gain that when I throw that wild audio, it puts it into the fire breather. It does the thing that I want. It does the thing. Yeah. And now that I switched over to Seymour Duncan, or not Seymour Duncan, but I switched over to Celestion speakers, and I went from the Eminence. I get more of that, that.
Yeah.
There's that certain back end that I don't get from the Swamp Thing and the Texas Heat. The Texas Heat and the Swamp Thing are great, but there's a certain grit that the red back Celestion and that V30 they work so well together.
I don't know if it's just because I've had it thrown down my throat my whole life, but I'm a Celestion guy.
The cream and green. I mean, his setup is so
Eminence is great, and I'm not knocking them.
Yeah.
Not knocking them. Dude, if I had bought an amp and it has an Eminence in it, I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, unless it's Patriot.
Especially if it works.
Yeah.
Unless
it's the Eminent Patriot,
yeah.
I'll get rid of that. That's the cheap deal.
I want to try that Cannabis Rex. Yes, pun intended. But I want to try the Cannabis Rex.
That's the one I was going to get instead of the Swamp Thing, but they kept saying that the Swamp Thing has more of that bottom end that I love. I love a bassy guitar.
Sweetwater makes a Princeton, a Tweed Princeton that has a 12-inch speaker in it. Normally I have a 10, and it's a Cannabis Rex, and I want that. I've been wanting that amp for a little while.
What's the price on it?
$1,000 used, something like that, but it's a Sweetwater, like Fender Special Run type thing.
But also Eminence has a DV77, which is the Mick Thompson speaker. It's one of the best speakers on the market right now that I'm real excited about. But I also want to try the Electro Harmonics Zach Wild 300-watt speaker.
The Electro, what? It's not the Harmonics.
Not Harmonics. The
Electro Voice or something like. Yeah. I've heard about those things. Are massive.
Yeah, they're so
fucking massive.
300-watt. I mean, it's one thing to have a bass speaker, but it's a guitar speaker, and he has 4 of them per cab on stage. That's why he has the Wall of Doom. Literally, he's going the full AC/DC route, and I love it. I'm here for it.
All right, we almost had guitar history wiped out. Moving along down the line, guys. Thank you guys for still with us. Quote: I get a call at 2 a.m. from a neighbor saying the fire department's here. It could have swept right up the side and took the whole thing out. Bonamassa Nerdville almost gets taken by wildfires.
Oh no.
You can look at the YouTube documentary with Reverb, the Nerdville stuff. Have you watched that?
I watched the Nerdville.
There's one of them, yes, you can see all of it. Oh my gosh.
Well,
to have all of that gone, it makes me wonder if that's where all his Tweed stuff was.
Well, because
have you seen that wall of Tweed shit he's got, where he's got like everything Tweed?
Because I showed like the video that I seen of Nerdville is like it's like an hour long, and it shows his Nerdville sign, and he's talking about his Nerdville sign, and then you walk in, and then it's just this guitar or the guitar amp like some of the most badass guitars ever. I mean, in his amps.
The amps.
Minus Rick Nielsen. Rick Nielsen probably has the best guitar collection I've ever seen.
Good Jesus Christ. Even if you don't play and you like guitars, get on Gibson, the collection, and check out the Rick Nielsen collection and just watch it once to look at the guitars they talk about, and then watch it again to look at everything in the background.
Yeah.
And then you'll go, he's got warehouses of this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got more Firebirds than anybody on the planet. I guarantee
Explorers.
you. Explorers, yes.
Explorers.
Yeah, Explorers.
And he's probably got more Firebirds too.
And he's got he's got the Rick Nielsen guitar, like his
the
body.
two-legged body. Yeah.
And he's got the 5-neck guitar. However you play that.
Some of the first ever Explorers. I think he has some of the most earliest Les Pauls. Like,
with the vintage, which, you know, you've heard us say it 1,000 times, and we'll say 1,000 times more, the cream and black pickups. The
zebras, or if you get the
Z's.
double whites. Oh,
man.
Jesus.
Just the thought of it.
Some fucking double whites, 59 double whites. Oh, jeez.
Just talking about how it's like they took off the covers and they were the zebras, and he's like, "That's it." And see, like we said it so many times, Rick Nielsen is my guitar. Like he's my spirit animal.
There's one in there that he talk. You hear him talk with Mark, and he says, "I haven't taken the covers off, but I know for a fact those are double whites." Mark looks at him and he goes, I know the numbers. I've done the research. He's like, if you look under here and he's like, I know they're double whites. And to have a 59 burst with stock double whites, I know people go, oh, we want black or want this or that. Man,
no, Zebes or doubles.
Zebes or dubs, bro.
Any day.
I think that Kirk Hammett's black standard has a zebra in the neck and black in the bridge. And that was just because they were running out of plastic.
Yeah.
There's nothing different about them. It's just here's the prize in the cereal box type shit.
But it's also, until you see the zeros behind those, the price that it would cost to buy a vintage 59 double white.
And here's the thing, before we, and I'm glad that Joe didn't lose his stuff. I'm so glad. But not all guitars are built the same. Not all guitars are built the same.
None.
Some vintage guitars you buy or go get, or you say, oh, guys down the road got a vintage, whatever. 7 times out of 10, it's probably trash.
Yeah.
And if you get lucky and it's taken care of, you'll go and you'll be like, oh, damn, this is a great vintage thing. If you're really into that guitar, into the vintage stuff, if you find the right one, good on you. But if it was me, I would do the Murphy Lab stuff. Paying a fraction of the price, getting the same looking, feeling thing, and it's brand new.
I don't know. If I'm gonna go vintage, I want to flood the Silvertone 60s market because they're from $400 to $800, but they're some of the raddest sounding guitars I've ever heard.
Back before COVID, like 2019, those were like a $200 to $600 guitar.
I know.
They were so nothing.
They're nothing.
They were nothing.
But there's some of the raddest sounding guitars because my buddy Dustin has a 1960s vintage Silvertone and Guitar Center.
And it's a Dano. They're Danos. If you know your history, Silvertone and Dano are made in the same factory. One just went down one line and one went down the other.
But his Silvertone, this is from Guitar Center, offered, and they call the guy's like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go call the owner real quick. And he comes back. He's like, I'll give you 800. Dustin's like, no. He's like, all right, I'll be back. He's like, I'll give you 900. And he's like, no, then it must be worth double that. If you're offering me 900 at Guitar Center and you keep going up, then the price
they have
is at least 1,500. But it's one of the raddest sounding guitars I've ever heard.
Well,
so noisy. I love those noisy pickups.
I keep trying to con him into getting a Dano. I have a Dano. I have a Sparkle Dano, and it's probably one of the best guitars in the vault that I have.
And it's like picking up a paperweight.
Janky and jangly and whatever, but
wrapped in tape.
But I think any Midwestern boy can agree with us. You can't beat Bass Boat Sparkle.
Nope. At any color.
You can't beat Bass Boat Sparkle. If you have something Bass Boat Sparkly, I'm going to turn and look at it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. You're gonna look us in the eye and see a sparkly bass boat drive by, and you're not gonna look at it? Of course you are. Even the blacks.
Mikey, I agree with you, dude. I agree with you so much on the collections and the custom shop or boutique builder before the vintage. I think if the vintage thing works, it's only if you find that right one. Like grandma says, "Oh, my best friend has a guitar under her bed, da 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 da," and here you go, or whatever. But yes, Mikey, I'm with you, bro.
Like that's why.
Sorry to cut you off, Jim.
No, you're good. That's what that thing's there for. You can see. I can't see it.
We have people hanging out with us.
I can't read it from here. But it's like it still takes me back to that. Where was it? Was it South Africa? Was it Australia that they found that? Not the martin. The martin was because remember they found that martin. It was like so gnarly, but it was the 59 Les Paul that they found.
Yeah, it was like a 59 or 60, and there was one in Africa.
It was
and there was another one in England, I think.
Yeah, because the England one, because I know
Bonamassa bought that one.
Yeah, that's the one that
I don't know about the one. I can't remember the whole story about the one in Africa.
Because the one in Africa, like it was such a rare guitar, and it was just in some old lady's just closet, just thrown away, just like that old Martin that they found. Like we got to start breaking into all these old houses that are just abandoned because because do you remember that house that was on Highway 5 that was over by the water tower, that old beat up rundown house? It's right up the road from where your dad used to live.
Yeah.
Okay. So, after the guy that owned it passed away, there was the family had it, was brought over to take out, some items. There were 6 guitar cases sitting on the front lawn. And I really drives me crazy. I want to know what were those guitars, because that house was trash.
Yeah.
And it fell down after, I mean, the furniture was holding this house together. But to think what those 6 guitars could have been, and like everybody was gawking over them, so it's like they had to be something, and they probably could have been just some cheapo Yamahas or whatever, but still a 70s Yamaha, that's really good. That's a good find.
Yeah,
because it drives me crazy.
Or like a any kind of lawsuit guitar, like an old Greco or Ibanez or whatever.
I could have had the Flying V. Which was it? The Flying V? Which was the lawsuit guitars? The Flying V, not Guild, not
Greco.
It was not great. It wasn't Chipson. It was it was Ibanez.
Yeah,
it was Ibanez.
There's a few of them out there.
Which Ibanez has the Les Paul one, but it was the Flying V, and I had an option. Somebody wanted to sell me one. Remember when I had my big Ibanez collection?
Mm-hmm.
I could have had one for a really cheap price, and I was like, "This is trash." And now I'm like, I hate myself.
I hate myself.
All
right, moving along. John Mayer with Dead & Co. at the Sphere. They've removed stage amps altogether. And they're literally, if you look on his Instagram, it says file under whatever it takes. Shipping crate stashed behind some road cases in the loading dock of the Sphere houses a couple of my guitar amps that are mic'd up and being heard with the rest of Dead & Company. If you happen to be walking through, you've got no choice but to hear it. Bonus points if you can name the song I'm playing. And I mean, there's, a little video. So he's literally got his amps in a loading dock, mic'd up.
And how the Sphere set up, like, do you know how they have that set up to where you could be? I'm here, and I'm from Middle East, and you're from Asia. It's Middle East where I'm at, Like the voice can be like the language could be Middle Eastern and it could be Asian for you. It's crazy, right next to each other.
It's
I don't
insane.
understand it.
It's insane.
That sphere is like it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And they have the other things like in like Saudi or Abu Dhabi or whatever that make the sphere look like fucking child's play.
Well, yeah, go look at what Dubai has.
Well, Paul McCartney can put dry ice in the clouds and make it not fucking
How is
rain.
that possible?
Shit.
That's craziness.
I want to get into something like this. It may not have to be with this guy, of course, but if you guys still with us, have you guys ever been to a workshop, like a guitar workshop or anything like that? I've never, I've done a couple like bowling workshops in younger days or whatever, but I've never been to a guitar workshop.
No.
Like, and I'm guessing it's about like live playing and some tips and tricks. George Benson, one of the great Ibanez jazz box players of all time. Great guitar player. Leading a 4-day concert and workshop event featuring some of the world's brightest guitar talents. And Rick Beato is hosting.
Where's this at?
Breezing with the Stars combines workshop gigs and a luxury hotel resort. Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, my dad lives in Phoenix.
January 3rd, 2025.
My dad lives in Phoenix. I can stay there for free. Wowness.
I don't know how much it is.
We heard luxury resort.
Yeah. Packages start at $2,700. Shared accommodation up. There's a $2,200 commuter package. And to run up to almost $7,000 for a couple suite.
Oh. All inclusive? It's a luxury. It's all
I would imagine so.
It would have to for that price. I mean, they gotta drag you in somewhere. It can't be just for the room.
Tickets for the event will include access to all 4 days and nights of workshops and shows, guidance and mentorship from George and his all-star faculty, plus accommodation and meals from Wingham Resort.
There we go.
There's several jam rooms. Each will be equipped with gear. Ibanez is sponsoring Breezing with the Stars and available for guest use. It's cool. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive.
A little bit. Little
I'm sure there's some other workshops that are not so much.
Well, it's like, would you want to do that or would you want to do the fantasy camp? And the fantasy camp.
Rock and roll fantasy camp would be sweet.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, which one would you rather do? It's like, personally, I would rather do the fantasy camp.
Yeah.
Because we know the last 3 years, J5 was there.
You can go and rock out. You can go and rock
year.
out with some people. Yeah.
Rudy was there. What was it? I think a year or two ago. I mean, just all the, that'd be the one I want. And then you get to play on stage with them. I mean, that'd be what I want to do.
Oh, for sure. All right, guys, we're getting a little bit to the end of our news. We're going to jump into a couple other discussions here and round out some more gear talk. But what do we think about John Mayer playing Jeff Beck's custom Strat during Dead & Company's The Sphere residency?
Perfect. I mean, it's...
A lot of people have been speculating, it's custom, but guess what? Bonamassa gets on and uses his eyeballs and says, no, it's the real deal. It's Jeff Beck's old guitar. I personally like seeing these things back out in the wild being used. I think it sucks when you see like Stevie Ray's number 1. Well, you're not going to use that too much.
I don't think you can use
but you know what? Like Jimmy Page's number 1, or when you see those guitars that are just like
they're literally trash.
They're trash now. Yeah,
but they're $1 million trash. But they're trash.
Yeah, that's their wall hanging trash. You might be able to get some of them back together to play right, but.
That's SRV number 1. There's no way.
No, that thing's been chewed on by a beaver.
Like you don't play 13 gauge and then have like the monster that is SRV destroying that neck. How many necks? That thing's had 5 necks, 4 necks?
I think it's been refretted and refretboarded a few times, and then I think it was necked once, and then he put it down because he didn't want to compromise what he had. But then later on, he had so many other guitars that were just sonically better.
Lenny was a great,
Charlie,
yeah.
Charlie was one of the Hamilton guitar. I feel like Charlie was one of the best ones with the Dano pickups in them.
Yeah,
those were. I just love that sound.
But I still want. I know you had one. I know you had the SRV.
I had an SRV guitar, and it was just back to Strats being thin for me.
And
that's all it was. If I'd have known what I had when I had it, I'd have shoved it under my bed and not thought about it.
Because I was gonna do like that. Like I wanted the Texas specials because that's what you had, and I was so excited because I thought it was gonna be punchy, and then you're like, no,
no, they're not. They're great, like super clean and pingy, turned up, but they're not gonna give you that
grit, that
round fullness. And like if you're a Strat guy and you play clean, oh, that's your shit. But if you want some gain and you want like a little versatility,
I want that Tele grind. You know what I mean? I'd want that Tele grind in the Strat. That's why I love my Strat Tele. I just love that Tele sound coming through a Strat.
A fucking Stratocaster is a pretty girl with big boobs and a semi to moderate butt.
Well,
a Telecaster is like a girl with like medium boobs and a big old butt because it has all the bass, has a little bit of the top end, and it looks fucking great.
And then a Gibson is literally all butt and boobs. it's everything.
A Gibson is just,
in my opinion,
is just the thick with 3 C's.
Thick.
Anyway, John Mayer, kind of a hot topic of discussion today.
He's always a hot topic of discussion. It seems like no matter what. I mean, we have so much respect for him too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We can't pass up anything.
For sure.
I mean, it's just, speaking of John Mayer, just last night, a thing popped up my feed. It's when he did the skit with Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah. That will forever be a thing. That will forever just be like,
so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. It's like, now we're going to see how black people handle the guitar. And they're just like, ugh. And now with Questlove with the drums, and they're like, it's so good.
It's hilarious.
And then they did the Good Times theme. I'm like, it's over. It's over. It's over. It's so good.
Oh man. But hey guys, that's a little bit of the news. We're gonna jump in to some gear acquisition syndrome. We're gonna jump back into some tonal music, take a look at some straps. That'll probably be our main event for the day. But I want to talk about a couple little pieces of accessory here. This little thing is probably the best accessory you can buy, quote. Everybody's wanting these rubber bridges on those acoustic guitars to get to this folky stuff. I don't know why. I guess it's just, I guess it's a sound. Somebody please tell me. Orangewood Juniper is another guitar with a rubber bridge. But I'm trying to find out.
Are they full rubber?
Yes, there's a $12 tennis accessory. And it's
so it's
Babadai. I don't know exactly, but if you look right there, you can kind of see what's up. And it gives you this rubber bridge sound.
So it's like putting tennis balls on your walker.
Yeah.
So it's not as pingy.
I'm trying to find exactly like. I'm trying to find exactly like what the heck this thing is. It involves a Babolat Vibrakill, a small piece of inexpensive rubber that conventionally used on tennis rackets to dampen vibrations when striking a ball. So excuse me for looking dumb for a moment. I had to figure out what in the hell this thing was called because it didn't tell me what it was called until halfway down the article. A Babolat Vibrakill. Are you guys acoustic guys that like that stuff? Do we just need to leave the acoustic stuff alone? I'm like Billy Gibbons in the way of like, if you hand me an acoustic guitar,
I'm just gonna play it.
That's fucking kryptonite. I can do a few things on it, and I can't do much with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kryptonite to me.
I do.
I like it, and I can cowboy cord it up, but
I do like my my Muddy.
yeah,
My Fender Muddy. I mean, my $70 beat up old Fender acoustic that every acoustic that we've had that's been nice, we've sold, both of us collectively, all of
Yep.
them, everyone.
Yep.
But that one I can't sell because it has a story, and I don't want anybody else to have it. I'm greedy with it.
Before we get into the rest of our main event here, I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, but I want to give a shout out because we're not gonna. Our show's a little off the normal. Our segments are a little off, but I promise you. Shout out to Tonal for jumping in the chat. Thank you guys so much. We're definitely giving a tonal rundown and talking about some of these Jackson Hole straps at the end of this because of these colors. But that's what I want to talk about is the fact of our sponsors. We took an unscheduled break. We had a little bit of work and mental grind that we had to get through, and we came back. I got in touch with everybody, and everybody was super nice about it, and nobody was upset. And that really just, I don't know, it made me feel good. It made me feel like I'm with the right guys. So, Tonal, Franklin, Charlton, Jeff at Analog, Meanbeard, Greenbeard, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us and sticking through the craziness. And as you can tell, we're back. We're hitting it hard.
It feels good.
It feels good. Thank you guys so much, seriously, for sticking with us and standing by us. We appreciate you guys so much.
And this is new.
And I promise we're gonna get better looking chairs before it's all said and done.
And my beard will come back to full fruition. I just
but as we kind of round out the end of this here, we're gonna get into our main event and its gear, guys. So if you wanted some discussion about some juicy guitar or whatever, just save it for next week, because guys, we're getting into some gear. Guys, a few pedal collaborators have come out, and they are, quote, capturing a legacy. 5 effects capturing the Beach Boys' historic sounds. JHS, Keeley, Benson. Benson is giving you a spring reverb and optical tremolo, like a Surfsup tube spring reverb and optical tremolo, $2,200. It looks like an amp head. But if it's just reverb and tremolo head, then that's an insane piece of equipment.
Yeah.
To go vintage, you know what I mean? And then you got JHS Good Vibrations, chorus vibrato, $299. You got a JHS Punchline bass station, which is at $499. And here's the one that gets kind of crazy because it's just the way they look. Keeley California Girls 12-string simulator pedal, Sweetwater exclusive limited release at $299. Keeley I Get Around rotary speaker simulator, Sweetwater exclusive limited release at $299.
Keeley makes some great pedals.
But I mean, you guys get online and check it out if you like. Keeley, the I Get Around rotary thing looks really cool with the knobs. The JHS stuff looks great too.
Did you say Benson? That was 2000?
Yeah, Benson amps, Surfsup.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's definitely a tremolo and reverb because it's not a. It's definitely not a head.
You think Bonnie's got one of those?
I don't know, but they're sold out.
You know he's got. You know Bonamos is good.
He's got
one of those.
They're sold out. He's probably got the original one.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got the original one, and he didn't have to pay for it.
They're sold out. If that tells you anything. Not that they're out of stock. No, they're sold out.
Wow.
So
was it limited run or is it just
limited release?
Okay, so they were 2,000. So what do you figured be 3,000?
66 units.
So you figured it'd be 3,000 by the end of the month.
We could probably get on Reverb and look.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm conservatively saying 3,000. You know, it's going to be like 3,500.
Dude, these Beach Boys are, they run a lot deeper than what people think, man.
Have you heard that Brian Johnson interview where he's talking about how he was possessed and all those wailing sounds in his head is what they put on guitar?
Yeah.
It's a weird. If you haven't seen it, you gotta. It's a weird thing.
It's weird. The
It's a
psychedelic
really-
trips that those guys were going through at the very, the end of it all.
I mean, Helter Skelter. I mean,
All that crazy crap.
taking Charles Manson music and making it their own. Like he was partying with them. Like that's some crazy stuff. And it's like you listen to the Beach Boys music and you're like, oh, that's a great song. And then you hear the backstory of it. It's like, that's a Charles Manson song. Whoa. Whoa.
But capturing the Beach Boys' historic sound and these 5 effects, I hope Benson comes out with a
pedal cheap.
Yeah, a little bit cheaper.
I know we already talked about us wanting to nickel and dime somebody.
Yeah,
but
we're nickel and dimers here, man.
It's like,
but no, this would be sweet in a pedal. Not a.
We have bought expensive pedals though,
Yeah.
So we can afford to nickel and dime sometimes. But that sounds really fun.
That does sound really freaking fun.
And the rotary, I mean, if you've never played a rotary, like I've only played the simulations, like from like effects pedals, and the rotary is so much fun to play. It's so much fun, but I want to play a real rotary.
Yeah, where you can feel it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're jumping in to the last few bits here, guys. As always, brought to you by Franklin Straps, Meanbeard, Greenbird, Analog Pedals. Check out their respective websites. Tell them the Pirates sent you. I'm telling you, you guys won't be disappointed. We're at Tonal Music Inc. now, guys, and we're checking out the manufactured refurbished instruments. We're sorting by price from high to low. American Ultra Strat, 2050.
What color is it?
It's burst with flight case. You know what you want if you're a Strat guy. You gotta have a burst Strat.
I did.
American Ultra HHS Texas T with the gold guard. Very cool.
That's
Out of stock gold foil Tele.
I know. I seen the gold foils. There's my guitar that I used to have. Only it's. Oh, my bad. Only it's the Manta Burst.
Yeah. Page 2. A lot of out of stock stuff. Good job, Tonal, for selling this stuff. Here's the one that Jim always loved. The Ethan Hart single cutaway black. Jim loved that thing.
Do you still have that red one? I can still see it in my head. I want that guitar so bad. That red one.
Framus D Series Progressive. That one's been here for a minute. I'll say that.
Have you had a Framus?
No, I have not, but I've heard.
I know I've played one, but I don't know if I've had
heard
one.
good things about them before.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when like Phil X was with them before, and they had like a SG style thing. There's your Gritch Jet BT.
Is that the?
I don't know exactly if it's the baritone or not, but it might be. With the BT, it might be baritone. More out of stock, which is awesome. Fender PM180E mandolin and cognac burst for $369.
It's a contemporary.
The contemporary and the special Stratocaster special and the Skyburst never owned for $369.
Those are so pretty.
Streamliner Junior Jet, $299. Great basses in here. Nashville Guitar Works bass. Nashville Guitar Works, another P bass. Lots of P basses. This is what I love too, seeing tonal guys. I loved seeing this. Pickups. If you guys get going with pickups and pedals, that'd be even better too. Dave Mustaine live wire pickups. They're out of stock.
Which I've heard really
Gus
good
G
stuff.
Fire blackouts.
I've heard good on both of those pickups.
An active neck humbucker, a blackout active neck humbucker. Like,
What is that?
which one?
Oh, that's the capo.
That's the glider capo.
gonna
Y'all
say-
guys, if you guys need a capo,
I think it's so cool.
seriously, go get the
Capo's
glider
so
capo
cool.
and don't be dumb. Like these ones that like smash, like it really does work. Like these glider capos do work.
Fantastic.
They're fantastic. So seriously, go check them out. That was a small rundown of tonal music, but guys, I've never been on tonal music and seen this much stuff sold.
No,
So that's awesome. I think that's badass.
it's just that Ethan Hart. Just saying.
Yeah, the Ethan Hart.
If you have that red one, hit us.
Ethan
hit me
Hart.
up on socials because I know I still remember it sitting on your wall.
That Ethan Hart's been definitely been in Jim's radar for a minute.
Oh gosh, for sure.
Let's take the time here though to jump in to some Franklin straps. But the reason why, we've talked about this before, we've talked about them at nauseum. You guys have heard this. I was looking at the site today, just kind of getting reacclimated, and not much has changed, but there has definitely been some stuff that's changed. Jackson Hole aged leather guitar straps. I got to looking at them, and I have a gray one, and it's a great guitar strap. It's on my baritone guitar. But I got to looking at them, and there's fucking colors now.
Yeah.
No, this isn't made for kids, so excuse me. There's fucking colors now. What?
That there's a certain color, and we're looking at a
There's
certain
red,
guitar.
there's a red, there's blue, there's a regular standard yellow, there's like a brown, like chocolate, and there's emerald green. You had me at emerald green.
That, yeah.
Okay, let me get the colors right. There's oxblood, chocolate, cognac, emerald, gray, and navy blue.
Cognac is such a good.
The only
looking
ones that
strap.
were here when we were doing it was gray, a while back was gray, cognac, and chocolate. That emerald and the navy blue, of course, the navy blue, but that emerald, dude, I don't know if it is or not, or what you can say. Strap of the year? I mean,
especially for your Firebird.
Jackson Hole age. I mean, like, the navy blue looks good. The navy blue looks like a damn tuxedo.
I don't have a blue guitar though.
But it would go good with like a white guitar.
Do have the white and black one because I always try to think like
Chocolate is good.
which the chocolate I would the cognac.
Oxblood.
The oxblood is so good, but the cognac
is great.
I've got to get that one
Like, but
for my bass.
the emerald, when I seen that damn emerald one, I couldn't believe it.
As soon as I seen the emerald, I said, you know where that goes, right? And then he instantly lifted up his case on his guitar. Is like, yes,
Yes,
because it's made for this guitar.
I mean, the thing is we were made for Franklin straps, and Franklin straps are made for us.
Because I'm so remember when I always used to tell you like my straps they are louder than my amp is. I was so mad, and I never understood, because I was never like that strap person. I liked what they look like, but I was like, it's a $10 one, but it's like,
Well, and now it's just
it's like a feather on your neck. It's so good, especially if you're playing a heavy, like if you're playing heavy guitars, like we're both playing. I mean, you need a, what is yours 2-inch?
no, these are 3-inch.
Those are
Some of them
3-inch?
go from 2 to 3, but yeah, I like 3-inch ones personally.
What is your snakeskin one? That's the vintage.
It's the little tiny one
It's
with
little-
it's like 2 inches
that
with like a
2-inch?
little tiny
It's got the
strap.
little tiny strap.
Yeah, it's the little thing. I like those too.
And then you have your OG.
The OG
the
original,
old- the
original fanboy one. I've messaged Charlton before and been like, "What do we have to do to remake this?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Dude, we can't do that."
Yeah.
He's probably thinking to himself, "Leave me alone."
Oh, yeah. He's gonna poke the bear every now and again.
No, he agreed though. He's seen that strap and was like, "Dude, that's old and has use." Like, you guys are fanboys. I think in a weird way, I think that kind of helped
Yeah.
because he was like, damn, you really do like this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Well, it's like whenever you actually have a nice strap, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is a whole different ball game. This is so much. And why are you not with AMS or Z-Sounds? We gotta know. I gotta know what happened.
No, a little birdie tells me that follow up with Charlton will be happening as well. Last little bit on Franklin. Another one that I really like. We've talked about it before, but this white bison that looks just like the old thin strap
that
with the
bison
little
one.
thing. Yeah, buddy. That one. But I like the vintage style straps. I like the thick ones. I like them all pretty much.
I love my snakeskin one. I just haven't found the right combo yet. You know, the right guitar. Like I want to go red, but it's like it's not the right red. It needs to be a darker. I think I need a matte. I think it's because I don't know if it's the metallic, but I think I need a matte red.
Yeah,
would be much better with it.
One thing I've noticed too with the bigger guitars, like I like the wider straps. It gives you more surface area to kind of grab onto because these bigger guitars, like the Firebirds, there's definitely a lot of real estate with the guitar.
How's the neck dive on those? Are they pretty? It's not an SG neck dive.
My Burst has less neck dive because the green one has the regular planetary banjo tuners.
Okay.
So it has more heft in the neck because of the tuners.
Because you know the SG is all neck.
Oh yeah,
it's all neck.
But it's not as bad as people would think.
Well, it's like because before we got those straps, you know, and I was rolling my the glove leather, and I thought that I had a badass strap because it's got grommets on it. This is great. And I'm like, the guitar, as soon as you get a premium strap and that guitar stays, especially if you have an SG, the no neck dive.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
Yeah. Now it's the best. It's the best thing you could do for your guitar besides like putting new strings on it.
Yeah. Well, it's especially if you like to accessorize your guitar, the strap is a very strong component to the look of your guitar, especially when you have it hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
And you just have it hanging over the front of it. It looks so good. It's like a watch. You got to have a nice band.
Yep. For sure. That's a little bit. That's it as far as our.
We forgot one more thing.
We're not done, but I mean, as far as like.
Oh, okay.
That's it for Franklin. Our little rundown of the newish stuff I've seen with Franklin, because we've talked. Man, we went over every damn strap on that site 2 or 3 times.
I mean, the cool thing though is that there is one Ethan Hart on there, but I'm going to say it one more time. The red one. I want a red one. I want
but
that
the
red
tonal
Ethan
music
Hart.
thing, I was really glad to see. Like,
that's
the majority of
sold,
it.
Yeah,
the majority of it's sold, and I love seeing that because it just lets me know that business is going, business is working. Like, what benefits them benefits us, and what benefits us will benefit them.
Yep.
In a weird way, you know. But that's just the end of what I got here. You know, as far as Franklin and digging around. Jim, whatever else we got, let's hit it.
We just gotta we push this to the end. It's the Wild Audio guitars. Some love them, some don't. It's there's no in between.
No, there is really no in between.
You either love it or you hate it. Some say they're the ugliest guitars ever, but you know that if you say it's the ugliest guitar ever, you know what I think? It's the awesomest guitar ever. I just like janky looking guitars. And as he knows, Josh knows just as well, the Zach C neck is one of the thickest, most holy shitness necks you will ever touch in your life.
It's very, very big. It's big.
It's a very big.
It's a slim taper 50s style neck.
Yeah.
Like I've had an SG with a 50s neck and there was no taper to it, and it was just a big baseball bat.
And that one's a baseball bat, but it's a little deeper.
It's deeper, but it had a good taper to it. It didn't get super tiny, but you could tell it was fat down here at 12, and it was fat at one, but
And
it wasn't as fat as it was.
It's one of those, if you are just playing, if you're bar chords, it's not going to affect you. But whenever you're playing it dropped, right here is when you know you got a thick neck. When you have calluses here.
I will say the one thing that I didn't like so much about it is the fretboard was a little sharp. Not the fret work, the board. Like where the binding was at the edge of it. That's the only thing that I was just a little meh about, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this sucks.
But the weight distribution, even though it was 9 pounds plus, the weight distribution was fantastic.
Yep.
And why I got rid of it, we'll never know. If I can go back and talk to myself back then, I'd beat the shit out of myself for getting rid of that guitar because it's the only Les Paul. I've wanted the Les Paul guitar forever. Every one I got, I sell, and that one is the first one. I'm like, this is.
But what we're talking about now ain't no Les Paul.
This ain't no nothing that anybody's ever seen before. This is I mean, there's one thing you can say about Zakk Wylde. Yes, there's some shapes that you know where he's got the inspiration from, but they're 100% him. But this one is the Gorgon. It's the Wild Audio Gorgon, which we're gonna see if you can even get an eyeball at this case. You have to. I know that's probably not the best, but this color is scheme. But the pickups, I don't know if you noticed, the pickups have the Vertigo on there.
That's cool. They're doing like a what the hell, bare knuckle type thing.
Yeah,
where they're like getting into that.
There's a better picture.
They're getting into that like cover design.
Which this guitar right here, I mean, it's gonna run you $18.99, so it's on the upper side. There's no, of course, with anything Schecter, there's no case that comes with it.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's the only thing that sucks. But the build quality, as you know, every Schecter that's ever touched both of our hands has been flawless.
I've not ever had a problem, especially with their upper mid to like super high stuff. Their cheaper stuff has been good, but it's never kind of rang any bells with me.
This one is Blood River Burl, and of course they have, he's got the Psychic Bullseye, which he's coming on every single guitar now. And then of course he's going to have the Buzzsaw, which he's famous for anyway. But these guitars are fantastic. So it's just that one, the first one, the Blood Ox one, that has the
pickup design.
And it's going to be the EMG 8185 Zakk Wylde set. It's going to be set neck,
Is the one with the pickup design, is that EMG pickups too, or is
yes,
that?
It is.
I was going to say.
That is 100%. It'll be Zakk Wylde 100%. It's
threw me off with designs on them like that.
Well, that's what I thought when I seen it. I was like, is there something
There's like
special?
a Schecter pickup or something.
Yeah. No, it's 100%.
It's an EMG thing.
Special.
I could
EMG.
see that. That's cool.
And that would explain the $18.99 price, and the others.
Well, and when you build guitars like that, it takes extra money. Absolutely. It takes extra I mean, like, it looks like somebody just threw a big booger on the wall, and Zakk was like, "Oh, there's my shape."
But the back side of it, I mean,
yeah, it's like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, that shape's pretty wild.
But it's like, I mean, there's only so many guitar shapes that you can go, and he's like, he made his own shape. It's 100% his own shape.
He's doing the right thing by making his own shapes, because then you don't have to like, oh, is this not gonna work, or is Gibson gonna be up my butt because I made an Explorer or a V or a Les Paul, or
But his Warhammer, oh my gosh, we're waiting for the Saint Dime one to come out. Hopefully that'll come out. I think
it's like a Lorax or something.
The Thorax.
Yeah, that it's a little pointy up in the point, but it looks more like kind of like the Mark Morton Jackson from back in the day. It's
close.
It looks like the bottom part of it looks like that.
Yeah, the Thorax.
So I thought that one was probably the coolest one out of them all.
Which that Thorax is one of my favorites, and they got the satin satin black with the wood finish around the binding, which is so awesome. Shout out to Wild Audio. Not only is it coming out with the Roto Vibe, finally they have the Crybaby coming out.
Yep. That
finally.
I love Zach, but I mean, like, not as much as Jim, of course. But I want that Roto Vibe so damn bad, just because I feel like it's gonna be obviously updated and it's a anniversary issue, but I feel like that pedal looks like it could take a fucking bomb blast.
I mean, anybody that's ever watched Zach, hey, he's not dainty.
No, well, no, I mean, his boots ain't dainty either.
No, but
so yeah, like, very excited about it. That Roto Vibe. I've always wanted a Roto Vibe too,
and it's not in stock. It is $3.99, but it's worth every bit of it. It's definitely, there's that Barbarian and Dragon Bullseye. Oh, so good.
Where?
There's the Thorax.
That's not the one that I was thinking of. Then
you are thinking of. I know which one you're thinking of. Is it not the Barbarian?
No. Where do you guys sit at with pedal prices? Is $4.99 too much or $3.99 too much for something? Where do you guys? That's the one.
That's the one.
Where do you guys sit at? I know when that Tone Bender from Boss come out and it was like $350 or something, I didn't bat an eye. Where do you guys sit at with your pedal prices, and what do you guys think is too much?
And well, the thing that bugs the crap out of me, because remember when I got my my whammy pedal, you know, when I got the original one, it was $2.99. Now the standard's $3.99, and the dual is $4.99.
Yeah.
So it's $100 in just a year and a half. That's $100 price hike.
Yeah, it's like if you have gear aspirations, before everything gets more expensive than 2 double cheeseburgers and a Coke at McDonald's, you better go get it.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow prices are going to raise again.
But it's like,
and then by the weekend, the prices will go up again.
The best thing about that Tone Bender, he gets it. And, you know, we knew that there was going to be price hikes. And the best one is like, we seen $650, which we figure would be $650. This one dude, we looked and we just kind of, our mouse dropped $1,800. We're like, what?
I remember when
and it was in a cart.
I remember when there was some and it was hot and they were selling for like $12.50. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't I buy 2?
I know. Well, I was like, are you going to sell it? You're like, hell no. Because, I mean,
here's the thing. It sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like for a fuzz pedal that's like, it's not super, super crazy, but it ain't dainty. It's good. Like, it's a great fuzz pedal. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, and the enclosure and the fact that it's limited to 3,000 and all that. Yes. And that it's a legit, like, Solo Sound Boss, like, collab. And no, you had me at hell. And that was a Father's Day gift years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you know what? Piece of gear that I've secretly been like, oh, I want that Fender. The PlayStation,
whatever. The Tone Master Pro. The
Pro.
Fender PlayStation.
I call it the PlayStation.
Fuck.
Have you seen that thing? It's touchscreen.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, it makes me. It goes right along with this. That Ampero Mini 2.
Yeah. That's
touchscreen and has all that little amp stuff. Like,
but it's
dang it.
It's the one thing to have Ola have it, you know. But when I seen Rob Arnold from Chimera, shout out to Rob Arnold. When I seen he had one, I'm like, it's over.
What I've said about it since they've come out with it is that the cabs are great, look great. They need to make a smaller one. Same engine bay and all that, just not as much options. Give you that straightforward feel to it. Maybe having a loop out of it that you can put a couple things in, and there you go.
But he's running out of 2 6505s with, you know, the Ford, you know, his Mesa Boogie cab, like his original stuff. But like, and I've said 1,000 times, one of my favorite tones ever is Rob Arnold, and I can have it in a Fender. It's the PlayStation. You should have changed. It should have been the PlayStation. It looks like so much fun to play with.
This shit is hilarious.
It looks like so much fun to play with, but it
It
blew my
does.
brain because I
it
watched.
really does.
The first one I go to is Ola, but it's like I always forget that that's not Ola's thing. And I'm like, I know Ola plays it, but I'm like, I haven't seen anybody else have everybody. But it's like Rob Arnold's like, yep, this is what I play on stage. This is what I'm playing on the Incarceration. I'm like, are you shitting me? I want one now. I really want one because
I hope that they make
good.
a smaller one so it's a little more accessible.
But
because I mean, like almost $2,000 for like the floor of it.
I've never looked at the price. Don't break my heart.
It's a heartbreaker.
We just talked about nickel and dime. Don't you just nickel dime?
We can just change it. We can change the name of this podcast to Nickel and Dime Show.
Show. Even though, I mean, there's some things that we can't nickel and dime, like amps. I don't want to nickel dime my amps anymore, ever. I've done that too much. I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, and then I'm like, that's it.
Yeah,
it has nothing else. Yeah. But the PV Bandit Red Silver Stripe is still, in my book, that's the king PV for me.
I want to try that Ampero Mini too. I know it's like a little, like whatever. I just like to try it. For like a desktop thing.
What's that amp that you always want me to get? I can't ever remember. It's the cheap one. It's the red one. It's made for the red. It's the redhead edition, but I can't remember. It was made for. It was on National Redhead Day.
It's a high watt, the high watt 5 watter.
Yeah.
There's another one that I've found that I think is cool, and if you guys have looked around and seen it, it's the Huang's 1 or 5 watt head. And it's like a little tube head that's like $200 or whatever.
But that Yamaha cool. TR5 still, I mean, that thing sounds so good.
Yep.
And your Fly 3 sounds good, but you have the extension cab on yours.
Yep.
So you got the hot rod of the Fly 3.
The Fly 3 is a great thing to have for just practice.
And you remember my Laney one that I had? It blew. I got one, boom, and it went pop. And that was it. I didn't even get to hear any. I never got to hear how it sounded, and it makes me so mad.
But yeah, no, I think we're getting pretty close to rounding this episode out.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything else that was pertinent, or anything else that we that I had seen, or
just. We got some good concerts going. We got a lot of good concerts going.
Yeah, a lot of the old school 80s bands have been like re-releasing stuff. Yeah. Or they're active.
Ice Cube's gonna be in an amphitheater about 2 hours north of us. I mean, anytime I hear the word Ice Cube, everybody's like, Friday, this movie, that, and I just hear, keep it gangsta, dog, keep it gangsta. Every time I hear Ice Cube, that song just blows through my head. Yep. But I want to see Ice Cube before we can't see him anymore.
Yeah, before it's not cool anymore.
Well, the thing is that it's in an area to where it'd be safe for us light complected boys to go to, because it's at the Ozark Amphitheater.
That is so true too.
Because Snoop Dogg played down in Little Rock, and I think I told you, I was like, I want to go see him, and then somebody was like, don't. It was at the Village, which is like, he's like, no,
don't just don't.
If it's at Alltel Arena or Simmons Bank Arena, yes, because it's a lot of crowd.
That's where
it's a 2,000 seater. He's like, don't do it. You'll be the fly on the shit.
Yeah. AEW is going to Simmons in July for a show in Arkansas.
Which,
let's go.
We did go to the AEW game. That was our car. That was our last big.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to the car episode,
it started out rocky. We almost got head collision, and we had to try to keep it cool as we were in the middle of a podcast.
Fucking white Ford was slow as fuck.
But that's the funniest thing, though, is that, I was like, "Oh shit," and Josh is just like da, 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 talking just right through it like nothing happened. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I was just like, we're gonna put, yeah, we just having fun. Anyway, oh man, we're at 1:22 here on the recorder. We're at about 1:30 here on the live stream.
I wish I could read those. My eyes are. So
You can lean forward if you need to. I can barely read it, but I think old Mike said, "Haha, Fender PlayStation," and then he says something about the Tonex 1 going to mini route.
Ooh,
I want to know some more of this mini route, Mike. Hit us up on the socials and let me know where you're at with the mini stuff. I like the mini stuff too.
and it'll forever be the Fender PlayStation.
It's the Fender PlayStation now. It is the Fender effing PlayStation.
That's the first thing I thought when I seen it. I was like, "Man, look at that thing, touch screen and all, and like you could just swipe everything."
Oh hell
on.
yeah!
It's a play toy.
Do
Do you think it's gonna? Do you think in the next few years, because Kemper was top dog, and then
I think it's just because Kemper is like an amp model or capture type thing, and the Fender PlayStation just basically has already these amp models in it. It's like you can get like a black face and a 51 or 50, the EVH stuff, and so yeah, very cool. Fender PlayStation, just make a smaller one. Without like 10 options, maybe like 6 options, 6 switches or 4, whatever. Just make a smaller one.
we'll be like, Fender came out with a PlayStation. Is this all? There's gonna be the search engines going crazy. There's no such thing as a Fender PlayStation.
Fender's gonna be like cease and desist about Fender PlayStation.
Sony's like, excuse me.
Sony and Fender collaborate, and they're like become the biggest thing ever.
You can throw some dimes my way. I'll take a cent of a cent per unit sold.
But hey, if you're listening on the podcast, guys, check us out on YouTube. And if you're on the YouTube, guys, check out some old episodes of the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you to all our sponsors, Franklin, Tonal. We're just including Tonal, Charlton. We don't, where we're at with that one. Mean Beard, Green Beard, Analog Pedal. Shout out to Jeff. If you guys get a chance, check out Jeff Boland's new band, Family Tradition. It's a Hank Williams cover band. They're really making some waves. Check them out if you're into that stuff. And if not, check out Analog Pedals and get you something badass. And until next time, if you haven't learned anything on this show,
it was definitely by accident.
Guys, big, small, one and all, we've got it for you here at Guitar Pirates Podcast. Analog, Mean Beard, Green Beard, Franklin, Straps, we've got it all. Guys, we have a wonderful episode. Thank you for inviting us into your eyeballs and earlobes. I've been your host, Josh Jones.
Been your co-host, Jim Steger.
Guys, until next time, have a baby and name it after us. And if you don't have a baby, go buy a dog.
Well, don't touch my hair.